Hi everyone and welcome to Dream Alchemist TV. Today we have Gina Battye. Gina is author of How to Beat the Biscuit Tin Blues. Welcome, Gina.
Thank you, Karen. Hey, everyone.
Yeah, we're finally sorted. Sorry if anybody tuned in at 6:30. We've had some technical issues, but I'm sure you know it's the age of the internet and technology, so I'm sure you can bear with us. Now, let me tell you a little bit about Gina because I actually met Gina many, many years ago. Gina saw me speak many years ago. It was at a coaching evening, wasn't it?
Yes,
And I
it was
actually,
indeed.
yeah, I saw Gina a few weeks ago, so I was speaking at another event, and I didn't even recognize her. And I didn't recognize that Gina was the author of The Biscuit Tin Blues. Now, Gina, let me tell you a little bit about her. Gina used to be a size 16, and she's now a size 8. Also now an international inspirational speaker, and like I said before, author of How to Beat the Biscuit Tin Blues. So Gina, welcome.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you for that lovely introduction too.
Yeah, you're welcome. So tell me a little bit about how your story began and how you became Gina, How to Beat the Biscuit Tin Blues.
Okay, I'll take you back if I may.
Yeah,
So, as you said, I used to be a size 16, and I specifically remember the day that I realised that I'd become this size 16 young person. I was 22 years old, and I went shopping with my mum. And I specifically remember we actually went into H&M, and I was trying to find a shirt to wear for
yeah.
my birthday. So I picked up a shirt as you do off the rails, went into the changing room, put it on, and it fitted. I can't tell you, I was absolutely devastated at that moment.
And is that when you were a size 16?
It was, yes. Now the reason I was so upset is because as a young child, I'd always been very little. I still am very little. I haven't grown very much. Um,
How tall are you? How tall are you?
I'm just under 5 foot. In the morning, I'm 5 foot with hair, so that's good.
Don't
The
worry, well, I'm
reason it's
actually
spiky.
5 foot 4.5, but with my hair, people think I'm 6 foot. There you go.
Indeed, indeed. So yeah, as a child, I'd always been very small, very petite. I went to university. I studied theatre design, so I studied light and sound for the theatre. Now, when I went to university, it was very much a fast-paced environment, so I didn't get much time to sit and eat and to concentrate on looking after myself.
Hmm.
Very quickly, I saw the weight piling on, and as I said, I hit 22, and I realised that I'd put quite a lot of weight on really. At that point in the changing room, I had a bit of an awakening. So I realised that I just couldn't continue as I was doing. So I did what every person would do that was unhappy with their body image. I went on a diet. Now, for those of you who have tried diets, you'll know that they don't frequently work. They're not very sustainable, and you very quickly put weight back on.
Can you name me a few of your diets that you've tried? Because believe me, over my lifetime, and especially as a dancer, I have tried so many diets. Unbelievable.
I think the key thing that I used to do was not eat. That's one of the big ones. I used to think, yeah, if I don't eat, then I'm not consuming that much, so therefore I'll have to lose weight.
Hmm.
That didn't work. Let's see. I started cutting out certain things, so it was always a restriction thing for me. I would stop eating things like chips. I used to be really on chips.
Yeah.
So I cut out the chips, and yes, I lost quite a bit of weight, but then it wasn't sustainable because I love chips, and I
Mm.
piled it back on. So it gets into a vicious cycle, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Um, so I did that for a while. Realised that I was doing the whole yo-yo dieting thing, um, and then at the age of 26, I was diagnosed with IBS, irritable bowel. Have you heard of it?
Yeah.
Okay,
Been there.
so I was diagnosed. Say that again.
I've been there.
Okay, then you'll know everything that I'm about to say. So yes, I was diagnosed with IBS. I was in a very stressful job at the time, and again, I wasn't looking after myself very well. I wasn't eating very well. My work-life balance was all out. Yeah, it just wasn't a very good time. Now I went down the route of visiting the doctors, went to see consultants, had all the tests, which were very unpleasant, as I'm sure if you've
Mhm.
had them, you'll know. Um, Yeah, and as a result of that, they told me that my symptoms were IBS related. They didn't really tell me much more than that. They simply said to me, "Here, have some pills. Take these to deal with the symptoms."
Yeah.
Now, me being me, that just wasn't good enough. So I went away. I read up on as many different websites as I could. I read as many books as I could get my hands on, and I spoke to as many different people as I possibly could to figure out what I needed to do, not to manage my symptoms because that wasn't good enough for me. I
Yeah.
needed to get to the root cause of it. Very quickly, I realised that dieting and exercise wasn't going to cut it, even though it would probably help me lose a bit of weight again. It wouldn't be sustainable, and it certainly wouldn't achieve what I was looking to achieve longer term.
And what can I just stop you there? What were you looking to achieve long term?
So longer term, I was looking to lose some weight, but keep it off. More importantly, I wanted to be slim again,
Mm.
as I was as a youngster.
Yeah.
I wanted to boost my energy. I wanted to generally just be healthier and happier. That's what it boils down to be honest.
The thing is, isn't it, as well? People, I know I've done it myself, especially when I was dancing, trying to achieve that target weight for yourself. You
Yes,
can get there, but once you get there, it's sustaining it, isn't it?
yes, and that's the difficulty, you know. People don't realise that sustaining it is it's not easy, you know, unless
Mhm.
you're doing the right things, which I
Yeah.
found has been fundamental, really.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, so as a result of doing all the reading, I realised that I needed to focus on 5 areas and not just the two typical ones. So that's dieting and exercise. So the
Yeah.
5 things I focused on were eating well, eating healthily, keeping
Hmm.
active every single day. Then I was looking at reducing stress,
Yeah.
achieving work-life balance is the fourth one, and then living in spirit every day. So being in more tune with myself generally. I used to find that I was living in ego quite often. Um,
Okay. So can I just
so
ask you,
yeah,
how do you give an example of living in ego?
living in ego. Okay, so how I think of living in ego is like this. Well, I'll give you the differences between living in ego and living in spirit, and then you'll see
Yeah.
what I'm talking about. Okay, so living in ego for me is I imagine that I've got a little goblin figure sat on my shoulder. It's quite
Yeah.
heavy. It weighs me down. I've always got a bit of a side thing going on, and he carries a fork. Now, every time that I do something that he doesn't like, or if something upsets him, he stabs me in the face with this fork, and it's really quite unpleasant, as you can imagine.
Yes.
Now, the times that he does that are the times when he feels threatened, when he feels like somebody's confronting him, when he's put on the spot, when something isn't going his way, generally. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, the other side to that is living in spirit. Now, imagine you go on holiday. You have a 2 week holiday. After a week, you're totally relaxed. You're a different person.
Hmm.
You're very grounded. You feel very light, both in your body and in energy. You feel very happy. You feel grounded. You feel confident. That to me is living in spirit. And they're
Yeah.
two very different states of being.
Yeah. Yeah. That little devil on your shoulder doesn't sound very nice.
He's
We have to keep
not.
that
He's
devil
not.
off as much as we can.
He's very destructive and he hurts actually.
Yeah, it does hurt. It does hurt, definitely. And we all have that little devil on our shoulders, don't we?
We do. We do.
Mm. So how did you stop that little devil jumping in all the time when you found that it wasn't only diet and exercise that were going to be the two fundamentals for you?
Quite a range of different things, really. So, to take me from living in ego into living in
Mhm.
spirit, I focused on quite a number of different things, but now I've integrated them all into my life. So, I'll give you a few examples. Okay, the first one's meditation. That's been hugely beneficial for me. Things like visualization, practicing gratitude,
Mhm.
practicing the law of attraction, things like affirmations, getting out into nature. I go walking every day, first thing in the morning, get outside, get some air, look at the
Mhm.
squirrels, all that kind of thing. So anything that kind of makes me feel freer and um, helps me to ground myself, really.
Yeah, yeah. So when you said about By the way, what time do you get up to do this?
I knew you'd ask me that. I get up at 5 o'clock every
Yeah,
morning.
high five, girlfriend. I'm at 5 o'clock
High
as well.
five.
High five.
5 a.m. club.
Yeah, the 5 a.m. club. Bring it on. Love
Yeah,
it.
so yeah, I get up at 5 o'clock, and the first hour that I spend is first thing I do. I started by doing 20 minutes of exercise, and as I said, I get outside and I walk or I cycle.
Yeah,
Sometimes lift some weights. Depends on how I feel on the day.
yeah.
Um, so my 20 minutes quickly grew into 45 minutes, just because I love being outside so much. The next 20 minutes is spent reviewing my goals and thinking about my day, thinking about what I want to achieve. Once I've walked as well, things come into my mind because I'm a lot more relaxed, so they get added to my to-do list as well.
Do you think being in nature helps as well?
Definitely, without a doubt, yes. Well, what I've tended to find is if I've got something that I need to think about or mull over, if I head outside and go for, I'm looking that way because outside's that way, by the way.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so if I go outside and I start thinking about it, very quickly the answers will come to me. I don't really need to put much thought into it. I just relax my mind and the thoughts come. So
Mm.
I find that early morning walk is fantastic, for clarity as well as body and mind.
Okay. So obviously you must have quite a bit of time, or do you make time to be able to do that? Because sometimes even
I
I
make time.
struggle. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
I
make
make time.
time.
Yeah, it's interesting because I was never a morning person, and anybody that knows me would say, "I cannot believe you get up at 5 a.m." That to me, I only knew of one 5 a.m., and I bet you can imagine which one that would be.
PM.
By
Was that when
PM,
you were clubbing?
indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I never used to get up early, so I realised that I was getting up at 9, 10 a.m., and I was just wasting my day really.
Mm.
And all of a sudden, I just thought, I want to be doing more meditation. I want to be visualizing. I want to be practicing gratitude and doing all the things that I like to do.
Hmm.
So, I just decided to get up earlier. It started by getting up at 7, and then it changed to 6, and then it's changed to 5, and I'm not going any earlier than
Yeah,
that. No
I
point.
would say that 5 o'clock is big. It's all right when it's sunny, the sunny mornings, but when we've got winter,
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I really struggle. Do you?
Yeah, yeah. I actually started doing it in winter, and oh, it was quite painful for the first few months.
Yeah, it's a struggle. I just wanted to go back to something
Yeah,
about visualization because as a coach, I get asked about visualization a lot. So I wondered if you had any tips for visualization because sometimes, don't know about you, but I get asked, well, in my mind's eye, I'm not seeing it, I'm not seeing it. I believe it's all about a feeling. So it's all about, the pictures. It might not be as clear as a picture when you're visualizing. But for me, when I visualize, it's a feeling. It's how that picture makes me feel, how what the thought that I'm thinking makes me feel. Because I think basically, how we feel is major. Basically, what do you think? What's your thoughts on that?
in terms of visualization, I'm aware that you can visualize in lots of different ways. So often
Yeah.
people say to me, when they visualize, they see things. Now, when I visualize, I don't see things.
Mm.
I either tend to, I think I'm similar to you. I tend to feel it more.
Yeah.
So how I start to visualize is let's say I sit and I'm visualizing specifically for that purpose. So I'll sit there, I'll close my eyes, I'll take a few deep breaths, and I'll just kind of center myself. That's what I'm doing really, and grounding. So take a few deep breaths, and then once I'm ready, I just start to think of what the scenario is that I want to visualize. Um, Now, sometimes what I have to do is because I don't see pictures in my mind, I talk myself through it. So it's like an
Mm.
audio that I'm creating in my mind.
Mm. Do you say it
So
out loud, or sorry, or do you say it in your head?
in my mind, yeah. So I'm just kind of I'm talking through the visualization in my own mind, Sometimes pictures will come, other times they won't. But I end up generating a feeling. I'm similar to you in that respect. I get the feeling from that audio.
Yeah.
And the feeling is really strong. It's not like, oh, this just feels nice. It's a really strong, powerful feeling that you are achieving whatever it is you're achieving, or it depends what you're visualizing.
So how long would you do that for, Gina?
Sometimes I might do it for a couple of minutes if it's a small thing that I'm thinking about. Other times I might, if for example I was visualizing my life vision, I might sit for maybe 20 minutes, half an hour, something like that.
Okay. So what do you say for people who are going off track, who think, right, I'm visualizing now, but the shopping list has just come up in my head. Oh, I need to make the children's pack lunches, or, oh, things like that, or I haven't sent that email. What would you say?
I would say take a few deep breaths, realize that you're doing that, take a few deep breaths, concentrate on your breath, and then bring your visualization, be it visually or auditory or feeling based, bring it back into where you were before you started wandering. Don't tell yourself off in your mind. It's a natural part of visualization, and also meditation. People find that a lot in meditation, that they drift. Just concentrate back on your breath, and it will bring you back to where you were.
I get asked a lot, and especially with meditation, people always say, but how do you clear your mind, Karen? And for me, during meditation, I never clear my mind. Thoughts are always popping in. But for me, I just let them go and carry on with what I'm doing. So I think it's that thing, isn't it? There's over, I don't know I think it's maybe they say 60,000 thoughts that we process a day. So you're not just going to stop them like that, are you? Maybe the Dalai Lama does that. I don't know, or Buddhas, maybe they do, but I know I don't. But you just still keep on going with it, don't you?
Indeed, but I think that they actually think about the shopping list myself. I don't think Dalai Lama can totally switch off.
I actually wonder what the Dalai Lama's shopping list is. I wonder what he goes out shopping for.
I might tweet him and ask him that.
Yeah, please do. I'd like to know. That would be brilliant. What does the Dalai Lama shop for? Okay, so living in spirit was very important and integral, really, for one of your was it 5, wasn't it?
Yes,
5
it
that you were doing. Okay, so that's all part of your morning. So you've got your visualization, you go for a walk, and then what else do you do?
Okay, yeah. So back to the 3 things. So the first thing is getting some exercise. The second was visualizing goals and actions for the day. And the third is learning. So I either read a book or I watch a YouTube video. The aim is to learn, to pick up some new things so I can grow every day. So I spend 20 minutes doing that as well.
Yeah. So okay, so we've got 2020. Have we got another 20 coming from somewhere?
Well, we had a 20 that turned into 45.
Yeah.
And then we had a 20 and then a 20.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so when you're doing your goals and your actions, do you give yourself a long list, or do you pick 1 or 2, or what do you do?
I start off by looking at my overall vision. So I've got a notepad where I've drawn out my vision. I start off by looking at that. I go through it, I run through the audio track in my mind whilst I'm trying to visualize it. And then I have a separate book where I note down what I'm working on for that week. So at the beginning of every week, I write down everything that I want to accomplish in the week. And then every day I review that and think, right, what am I going to do today? And I pick a couple of things off of it. Now, my list has generally got a couple of really big things on there. And I try to work on those every day to make sure I can make some progress throughout the week. And then I've got little things like I need to remember to email this person, or send some information off to a client, whatever it might be. So there's always big things and little things on there.
Yeah.
So I work through them.
Sorry, so the big things, you're always chipping away at it, really?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, sorry, and you were going to say?
I've forgotten.
You're allowed to forget, don't worry. If you just go back to the big things.
Yes,
Because
yeah,
sometimes I feel, I don't know if you feel as a coach that sometimes when I ask a person to, have something that they want to go for, sometimes it can put them off because they think that, that big thing that it has to be done like now.
yes,
Or, sometimes, or they maybe don't do it within the month that they've set that. Now, for me, I always think, you know what? We're living life. Life sometimes, nearly 99% of the times, gets in the way when you're going for that big thing.
yeah,
So my key is that I always say to people, be flexible with yourself. It might not happen on that exact date or time that you're going for, but as long as you still keep aiming at it,
yeah.
then that's the best you can do. What are your thoughts on that?
Yes, I agree. I think quite often people beat themselves up a little bit because they're thinking, oh, I have to do this and I've got this time scale, and they focus on it um, to the point of destruction sometimes.
Hmm.
And I think you're right. Some things happen during the day. Things don't quite work out as you plan. As long as you have a contingency, and you know that you have a bit of leeway with deadlines, especially if you're setting your own deadlines. Yeah, I mean, as long as you achieve them, does it really
Mm.
matter what has been harmed by not achieving it by a certain day and time?
Because that's some things that's a thing that normally I feel puts a lot of people off going for what they want, or they get to that date that they've set and time and they look and think, right, okay, well, I haven't achieved it. Oh, I'm no good. Then all that chatter starts going in the head, beating away at them, clicking them off, and then they don't end up doing it in the end.
Yeah, yeah,
And that's, I suppose, like diets as well. You focus, you focus, you focus, you focus. You're thinking, right, I'm having a really good week. I've eaten clean all week, and then you see that biscuit tin, don't you? And then it's like, for me, it could be a custard cream. That custard cream is shouting out of the biscuit tin. You might have one nibble of it, and then the next thing you know, I've eaten two.
at least you haven't eaten three.
I know. So it's the same kind of thing, but then you think, oh, I'll start it again next week. Oh, right, I've given up. So it's having that motivation, isn't it?
It is, and I think as well is, and this is what I found with my journey really. Before I was concentrating on cutting things out,
Yeah.
I realised very quickly that that's just not sustainable. So
Hmm.
the key thing I focused on was the 80-20 rule. So
Okay.
80% of the time you eat healthily, and
Mhm.
20% of the time you eat whatever you want. So that allows for your two or three custard creams, you know?
Right. So that would be 20, the 20%. So would that 20% be in one day or would it be in one meal? Because it's gauging if you've had a really great week and then say you get to Sunday and then you're having thinking, right, this is my 20%, you're having 2 tubs of ice cream, chips, fish and chips, would that, and then for dinner on an evening you're having massive plate of pasta with lots of cheese on, gulping it down with some wine and some garlic bread. Actually, sounds quite nice. And some
Sounding
garlic
familiar.
bread. Is that your 20%, or how do you measure that 20%? That's what I'm getting at.
Personally, I measure it over a week.
Right.
So if I was trying to do it over a day, I think I'd become a bit too obsessed with it, and I'd be
Okay.
thinking, oh, okay, so I can have 20% today. So I
Mm.
tend to do it over a week, but that's not to say everybody needs to do that. You just need to find the way that works for you.
Okay. So when you say
Um,
you measure it over a week, can we have an example?
yeah, so generally, what I would do is I'd eat healthily all week, as in Monday to Friday. So whilst I'm working, I make sure I eat really well. And the reason I do that is because I know that when I eat healthily in the week, I have loads of energy. So I can keep going from 5 a.m. all the way till 11 p.m. and I don't wane in energy at all at any point in the day. And
Okay.
that's because I'm eating really well.
So what's it when you say really well? What do you say really well is? Because I think that I eat really well, and now I've turned 40. I have to have a well woman check, and the nurse said to me today, "Do you eat oily fish twice a week?" So I thought, actually, no. When I looked at my diet, I thought, no, I don't. And she went, we're going to have to look at that. And I thought, God, and I think I eat really, really well. So what's a typical day for Gina?
Okay, so a typical day would be right. I'd go for my walk. When I come back, I've just got a juicer, so I'm experimenting with juicing at the moment.
Oh,
Um,
wow. Wow.
yeah,
Heard
it's
about the
quite
bullet. That's
interesting.
supposed to be fantastic as well. Have you heard of the bullet?
Yes, I have. Yes, yeah, yeah.
That can milk an almond. Just, so that's what I'm wanting. That's what I'm wanting. One of them, a bullet that can milk almonds. Fantastic.
Absolutely.
Hmm. Go
That's
on,
what
so
you
sorry.
aspire to.
Yes.
So yeah, at the moment I'm having a juice as soon as I get back. So that's to replace all the nutrients that I lost whilst I was out.
Yeah.
Um, then for breakfast I have a mixture of fruits with nuts and seeds. So I'll talk you through what I put in on a daily basis. Okay, so I grate an apple, chop up a banana. I have a mixture of berry fruits, so things like strawberries, raspberries, blueberries.
Hmm.
Then I might put half a kiwi in, something like that. Chop that up. I would put some coconut, desiccated coconut. I would put flaxseed. I would put pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds. Trying to visualize the cupboard right
Yeah,
now.
it's fine.
Um,
Sounds really tasty. I haven't had dinner yet, so that's
yeah,
good
yeah.
for me.
Well, the idea is that I don't want to have processed food, so I've cut out processed foods totally from my diet. Now I realise my diet is very different to the average person's diet,
Mm.
um, and I know that it's taken me a long time to get there. So yeah, so my breakfast is very much kind of fruits with protein.
Okay.
Put a bit of milk in there as well for more protein.
Okay.
Then I have a snack mid morning. That might be something like some fruit. It could be oat cakes with nut butters, things like that.
Mm. I love nut butters. I love you can get a gorgeous organic raw nut butter, cashew nut butter. I love it. It's one of my favourite.
Oh, that is to die for.
Yeah, it's about £7 a jar, but it's gorgeous. So
It
yeah,
really is.
nut
It
butters.
really is.
Mm.
So yes, I would have a snack, and then my lunch would be a hearty salad, huge. I'm trying to show you how
So go
big.
on, tell me. When I was growing up as a kid, my mum used to
Mm.
make me a salad, and it was the, I don't even know what kind of a lettuce it is. I'll just call it English lettuce. It must have cost about 15 pence or whatever, with some eggs on, radish, watercress, bit of spring onion. What do you call it? What do you call a hearty salad?
Are you ready for this?
Yes, come on.
Okay, right. So I start off my plate with a heap of leaf. So it could be lettuce, it could be spinach, rocket, all of that sort of stuff, all
Hmm.
piled on. I would have tomatoes, radishes, peppers, cucumber. What else? Then I would have some form of cheese, a couple of slices of cheese. I'd have some form of meat or fish on there. Then I would toast some seeds, so probably sunflower and pumpkin. Toast those, chuck them on. Drizzle with rapeseed oil. Um, what else? Olives, maybe some hummus. Um, you hungry yet?
Yeah, yeah. Go on, go on.
Um, yeah, I think that's it. Some days I might have something like a boiled egg or something to add a bit more substance to it. But what you'll notice is I don't eat a lot of um, carbohydrates. I tend to have kind of salads, fruit, and veg as carbohydrates. I don't tend to have rice, pasta, bread, any of that stuff. That's something that I've decided to cut out recently. I've cut out gluten from my diet, so I can tone
Okay.
my body.
And why is that? Was it for part of your IBS or?
No, 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 no. I've not had any IBS symptoms for wow, probably let's see, maybe 7 years, something like that. As a result of just making a few simple tweaks to my diet, dead simple
Okay.
things. The reason I've cut out gluten is because I like to train. I cycle quite a bit.
Hmm.
And what I wanted to do is tone up my muscle structure. So
Yeah.
I've decided to cut out the bread, pasta, and any gluten products really because um, I notice the difference when I eat them on my body.
Yeah. My friend, she's losing weight at the moment. She looks fantastic. She actually paid Kitty, the character Kitty in the In-Betweeners, and when she was doing that, they did put on a fat suit with her as well. But what she's noticed is that since she's cut out bread, that whole body shape has changed.
Yeah, it's made a massive difference. It really does. People don't realise until they cut it out.
Mm,
Um, Cutting bread out was quite difficult for me because I really love the taste of bread, and especially
mm.
the smell. Oh, just to smell bread fresh is just amazing. So that was quite a big step for me.
Yeah, bread. I have
But
a
I've
friend
noticed,
who says to me, "I don't eat bread," but then he has 3 slices of toast in the morning, and I said, "That's bread."
how does that work?
Well, it works for him, and he thinks he's not having bread, but he doesn't eat bread if you ask him.
That's brilliant.
Go on. So
So
that was lunch. So that was a good hearty lunch.
yeah, so a good hearty salad. Right, then I'll be hungry a couple of hours later again, so I'll have a snack. Again, it might be I might have a smoothie, something like that, or another juice. Um, in my snacks, I always try to make sure I've got maybe some fruit or some vegetables in there. I might have like crudités with hummus, something like that.
Yeah.
Always try to get protein in it as well because that maintains your metabolism. Then my evening meal, that could be anything from chicken with veg. It could be fish with salad or veg. It's always some sort of protein with either salad, veg, something like that. Cooked
Any
very
more
differently
nuts and
each day.
seeds? Any more nuts and seeds?
Um, it depends what I'm having. Sometimes yes, other times no.
Mm. How much
Depends on
water
the
do you drink? Do you drink water through the
loads,
day?
loads. That's the only thing that I tend to drink. So let's see. I probably have maybe 2.5 liters a day, something like that. And the only hot drink that I will have is chamomile tea, and there's a reason. I don't drink caffeine because if I do, that brings on my IBS symptoms. So I don't drink caffeine at all.
Okay. Because I'm a green tea girl, and then I realised I'm having about 3 cups of green tea a day, and it has caffeine in, doesn't it? And I
It
don't
does,
drink
yeah.
coffee. Is it smaller amount, or is it
Yes,
the
yeah, it is, yeah, and it's much better for you because it's got antioxidants in it, so it helps your body to repair and recover and look after itself. So it is green tea is a good option.
right? Okay, so I'm doing a good thing there. And then do you have supper, or do you not need supper, or?
I tend to have a snack. uh, for a little person, I'm only little. I'm a size 6 these days. Okay, so for a little person, I eat a lot.
Oh, you do. We're all good stuff, though, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. So back to the 80-20, which is how this started.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll eat healthy throughout the week, and then on a weekend, I tend to eat healthy, but I might just have a little sneaky thing in there. So I might, my treat of choice would be dark chocolate. Now, in the past, it would have been something like cherry lips, you know, the sweets.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Or it might have been a takeaway, it might have been alcohol. Um, but what I've realised is since going down the healthier route, over time my tastes have changed quite dramatically.
Hmm.
And before I would crave certain things, sweet things mainly, but now I don't crave them so much. So when I'm thinking, yes, I'm going to have part of my 20%, actually I end up choosing healthier options anyway. It's bizarre.
Yeah. Because you're getting used to that now.
Yes, yeah. And what I've noticed as well is when I do have something that is definitely part of the 20%, I feel it in my body. I feel really sluggish, really tired,
Hmm.
um, yeah, bloated sometimes. I can always tell when I've eaten something that isn't that good.
Mm. You work for yourself, and I know you go up and down the country doing cooking demonstrations at shows and everything, don't you? But what about, because that sounds like you have to be pretty organized. What about the person who's doing a 9 to 5, doesn't maybe have as much as free time? How could they fit that into their life? Like the
Yeah,
morning wake up program and everything else, or
dead easy. Okay, so I've only been doing what I'm doing for maybe, let's see, I left my full-time role employed in July last year.
Mhm.
So yes, I've got more time on my hands these days, but before then I was working 9 till 5. I worked in an office, so I had to go out. I was a teacher. I had to go out and teach. It was really difficult to eat at certain times of the day because I was teaching. So what I made sure I did was on an evening, the night before, I would prepare every single bit of food that I would want for the following day.
Mm-hmm.
So I would have breakfast at home, so that was dead easy. But I would prepare enough snacks to take with me, and I would prepare a lunch. If I knew that I'd be coming home later as well, what I would do is I'd prepare it in advance, or get the things out of the freezer that I might want to use,
Yeah.
and get them ready. So when I come in, I could just literally chop them and put them in, kind of thing.
So preparation is the key.
Absolutely. What I find is, and especially these days with my clients, is they find it really difficult to eat healthily when they're on the go.
Mm.
And the reason that they're finding it difficult is because they're not thinking ahead. Just think, when you go out shopping on a Saturday, for instance, how easy is it to find a healthy option whilst you're out and about? I find it
Well,
nearly
yeah.
impossible.
Mm. Now I'm on the road quite a bit, and sometimes if I'm driving up and down the motorway, then I pull off. Now I pull off if there's a Marks and Spencers or a Waitrose where I could pick up a salad or some
Yeah,
sushi or just something that's not a sandwich or a pasty.
yeah.
So I do that. I think about that, thinking right, okay, let me try and get something that's I know it's pre-packed, but a bit more
It's
nutritious.
healthier than many of the other options,
Yeah.
certainly.
Mm.
But yeah, certainly it's really difficult, especially if you're working in an office, to find things that are healthy whilst you're there. We had
Mm.
a lot of vending machines, and people were literally just going to the vending machines or bringing in biscuits, putting them in a tin, hence the name, How to Beat the Biscuits in Blues.
Yeah.
So yeah, so if you prepare in advance and you really think ahead, it makes it so much easier for the rest of the day.
Mm. And did you start seeing weight loss straight away, or did you go through a time when you plateaued? And if you did it put you off, or what got you through to the end?
In terms of the weight loss, what I found was I've tweaked certain things all along the way. So I started in 2005 when I stopped smoking. That
Hmm.
was the first thing that I did.
Oh, well
Um,
done. You're
Thank
a
you.
strong girl, yeah.
It was quite a journey, that one, I can tell you. There was a lot of shouting in the house at that point. Yeah, so I stopped smoking, and then the next thing that I did was I started to eat regularly. That had a really big impact because I wasn't eating regularly at all.
So what is regular for you?
So for me, I eat every maybe 2 or 3 hours,
Hmm.
but everybody's going to be different. So what I always say to clients is you need to be thinking about your body, and when you feel that you're hungry, you need to eat. Your body is telling you that you're hungry, so you must eat at that point.
Hmm.
And it's about getting yourself into a routine. And as soon as you've got yourself into that routine, you'll notice that you start to see a change in your body shape anyway.
Yeah.
Because if you're not eating regularly, your body's in what is known as a starvation response. And when your body's in that mode, it's holding on to everything that you put within it to make sure you can survive what it thinks is going to be a famine.
Mm.
So if you eat regularly, your body gets trained, if you like, to know that it's going to receive more, and then it can start to process what you're putting in. Um, yeah, and as soon as I did that, the weight started to come off. I tweaked little things, so I'll give you a few examples just for viewers in case they're wondering how to get started.
Yeah.
Okay, so then I started not having takeaways. So we used to eat takeaways twice a week, Friday and Saturday night. We stopped having those, and to replace that, I made sure that I was cooking from fresh. So just a little tweak there. Then
Yeah.
I cut out processed food, so I wouldn't eat anything like pastries, sausage rolls, any of the kind of convenience snack foods that you can get hold of, really. Cut all those out. And I replaced that with eating more fruit and veg for snacks.
Mm.
Then I cut out trans fats, so things like margarine, sauces, like pasta sauces that you can get in a
Yeah.
jar,
Yeah.
things like that. Just cut out anything that has been played around with in any way. Then I stopped drinking, and to replace that, I took up exercise. Bit of a weird one there.
Yeah.
Then I started thinking about reducing my stress levels. And again, that had a massive impact. What I found with myself is when I'm stressed, my body's holding on to everything that I put in it, again, to make sure I can survive. It thinks that I'm in attack mode. As soon as I started to relax and find ways to reduce that stress, it just kind of eased away and I started to lose weight again. It's quite interesting, that one.
Mm. Do you think it's because your body's it's trying to protect you? If you're in
Yes,
stress mode, it's
absolutely.
set, you're in fear, so it's.
Absolutely, yeah.
Mm. I noticed that actually. A few years ago, my uncle got diagnosed with Alzheimer's. We're very close, and I noticed I stopped gradually. I thought I was okay with it, but I started to gradually put on weight, and I put on, nearly about 6 pounds or whatever, and I thought, whoa, wait a minute, I'm still doing things that I used to do, but why am I putting on weight? But obviously, my body was holding on to it, preparing me for fear or holding on to it.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm.
yeah. It's almost like when you're stressed, it doesn't matter what you eat because you're in that preservation mode. So even if you ate super healthy and you were stressed, I believe that actually you wouldn't lose any weight from doing that
Mm.
because you
Yeah,
are in that, your body's in that stressed and anxious place. As soon as you relax and you start to look at ways to relax, my experience is that again, you can start to lose weight just from reducing stress, really.
yeah. Probably as well when you reduce stress as well, you don't want to comfort eat.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Mm. So I know that used to be one of my things when I was younger. Any upset or anything like that, it would be a cookie or whatever you could get your hands on. So yeah,
yeah.
it's probably something like that. So now you've done really well with that, and giving up alcohol. What about for the people who think, listen, a glass of red wine a day or whatever, I'm going to be all right about that. What would you say?
80-20 rule.
Right, okay. 80-20 rule. That would be a 20 then. Once a week or
It's up to them. I mean, I found that my 80-20 lasts over the week, but some people like the structure and they like to think, okay, I'm going to do 80-20 every day. So if you're
hmm.
that person, then certainly think about that day and think, right, what can I do that is 80% and what do I want to treat myself with and at what point in the day?
Were there any moments while you're doing it? How long did it take you to get from a size 16 to a size 6, Gina?
So I started this, I guess I started seriously when I was diagnosed with IBS.
Yeah.
So that was 26. I was 26. I'm now just 33, but I achieved this when I was 31. So I've kept it off for 2 years, maintained it more importantly.
Yeah.
So what's that? That's 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. 5 years. 5 years.
No, the people who are watching this can't tell, but Gina has the most beautiful skin. So it's probably
Shall I
all
get
the
closer?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, it's probably all the fruit and veg and water and no open pores because of the alcohol. You're not dehydrated. You're calm because of all the chamomile tea. So it's probably everything like that. You do look amazing. Your skin absolutely glows. Really
Thank
does.
you. Thank you. That's really lovely of you to say so.
Yeah, you do. So, during that time, what did you have? Please say that you that you are human, like the rest of us. Did you have any times when you got to a sticky moment and you thought, oh, and really tested you? And how did you get through that? Can you share that with us?
I've had many sticky moments, you'll be pleased to hear.
Thank God.
Thank God, thank God.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, right. In terms of sticky moments, I guess the majority were internal challenges, really, for me. So one of them was willpower. Certainly, when I was giving up smoking, that was like, I can't even begin to tell you how difficult I found that.
Mm.
Willpower was a really big challenge for me at the time. Motivation as well, when things were starting to get hard and I was plateauing. But not just around weight, because this was never just about weight. This was about the whole lifestyle change for me. Um,
Mm.
And I can't stress that enough. This wasn't just about me losing weight. This was about a whole change to everything. I wanted to be that healthier and happier person.
Yeah.
So motivation throughout, not just with weight loss, but with making changes in my lifestyle. That was a really big one as well. I guess changing my habits was probably one of the hardest things, because a lot of the food related things that I was experiencing were habits.
Mm-hmm.
So I was getting a lot of cravings. I needed to break those cravings. Changing my habits in terms of lifestyle as well. So I would often come in, put the TV on, and just veg out all night. So for me to
Yeah.
not do that was quite difficult. But now I can't even imagine sitting and watching TV.
Don't you watch television at all?
I only watch one program.
What is it?
I knew you'd ask. A Place in the Sun.
Are you going to go on it? You must. I know about 3 people actually on that program. You must go on it.
I would love to go on it. I would love to go. I always watch it because I find it so uplifting. Actually, looking at new places and different cultures and that kind of thing. I love it. So that's the only thing that I would watch. But I don't watch it every day. Just
Yeah. Do you know when I was a kid, and I don't know if it was on when you were on, but there used to be can you remember Wish You Were Here with Judith Charman?
Yeah.
I love that program, and I remember being in the kitchen, and I had this, I think it was like a rebounder. It was a ball that had, like a platform on it, and I was bouncing around, and I would have the like a holiday brochure, and looking through it, imagining that I was going to all these places because I'd never been abroad before. We always used to go to Butlins for my holidays every year, and I wanted to go abroad, so I'd do that, and I'd be bouncing around. And then when obviously I got older, I took myself abroad. But yeah, I used to love that. And you're right, such an uplifting program. I wonder whatever happened to that lady, Judith Chalmers. Maybe
no idea.
Start a new program. Isn't it a place for me? And I'll start with Brazil. That'll be the first place I'll go to.
You should.
Yeah. That would be really lovely. Oh, that's fantastic. So yeah, keep everything uplifting. Do you feel, I don't watch a lot of TV because I feel like sometimes it's just quite heavy, can be pretty draining. Is that why you don't watch it, or?
Yes, it pulls my energy down generally. What I tend to do just day to day is make sure that I'm always feeling good, because the key thing that I've learned from a lot of research and things is, when I feel good, I then start to have good thoughts. When I've got good thoughts, it then starts to impact on my actions and my behaviours and my interactions with others. So I always make sure that I've got this really good feeling inside. The minute that I watch TV or I hear people gossiping, maybe out in the street or whatever, anytime that I hear any sort of negativity, it pulls me down and it drains my energy. So I tend to distance myself wherever possible from that, because I don't want to be in that energy. I want to be light, I want to be uplifted, I want to be positive, and I want to feel good. That's my overall aim.
Yeah, well said. Woohoo, we need more feel-good programs on, don't we?
We do. Come on, when are you doing one?
Well, this is a feel-good program, so you're helping people. Yeah, one step at a time, helping people. So, work-life balance, because you've been very brave. You were a teacher. What did you teach, by the way?
I taught English and maths to adults out in the workplace. So I went into people at work, and I would teach them English and maths. They would come out of their work for a couple of hours. We'd have a class, and then they'd go back to work.
And so what made you to get to the point where you are now, international speaker, best-selling author? That must have been, well, it not must have been, it is such a brave step. Did you get to your size 6 and think, right, that's it? Or what was it that made you have that change?
It was a culmination of different things, really. I think through going through my journey, from getting the IBS and from kind of going down everything that I've learned, I was asked quite frequently from family and friends and acquaintances how I'd lost the weight and how I was being so radiant and vibrant all the time. People always comment on my energy and my positivity, and they were asking me how I did that, because they remembered me from being miserable and tired and overweight all the time.
Yeah.
So it started off really where I was talking to people about how I'd done it, and they were interested and they chose to work with me. So I was taking on private clients outside of work on my evenings and weekends. And I realised that I was really, really enjoying it. I was loving helping other people to achieve a similar transformation as what I've achieved.
Yeah.
Um, so that's kind of how it started, really. And then it got to a point where I thought, do you know what? I'm absolutely loving this so much that I would love to give up my work, my employment, and do this full time. So I actually started by reducing my hours at work. So I reduced those to a point where I was still working because I was worried about um, income.
Hmm.
I come from a background of scarcity mindset, as I'm sure a lot of people do. So I was quite worried about leaving that work behind and going into self-employment. So I did it very gradually. I left over time, and then all of a sudden I just thought, you know what? Now is the time. My book was finished. I'd been writing that over the period of working. My book is finished. I want to launch this, and I want to go and see how it goes. And the idea of the book was that I wanted it as a reference guide, really, to help my existing clients. I wanted to give them something and say, here you go, have a look through this, it will really help you. So it was always a case of helping my clients with the book.
Hmm.
And then I put it out there, I published the book, I put it out there, and it just went crazy, really. I totally didn't expect it. It became a bestseller within a couple of hours. Yeah, and I was really blown away, to be honest, by all the interest.
It's a very good title as well. How to Beat the Biscuit Tin Blues. I love it. Really
Thank
love it.
you. Thank
Have
you.
you got a copy of the book there?
I do. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah, get it. Let's have a look at what How to Beat the Biscuit Tin Blues looks like. It's fantastic.
Oh, I'm back.
He's back.
Oh, it's back to front.
Oh, that doesn't matter. I'm sure everybody will see that. Go out and buy it if you haven't bought it. Can we get it from Amazon? Where can we get it from?
Yes, yeah. You can get it from. You can either get it from our website. So you'd head to www.healthbygina.com.
Yeah.
It's on my books pages on there. Also, while you're there, you might as well sign up to my health and happiness movement. It's a worldwide movement, people are joining it, and all they're doing is registering their commitment to being healthier and happier every day. So you're registering your commitment to me to be healthier and happier. Once you've done that, you receive lots of free gifts to help you get started. So I'll encourage you to do that. Lots of really great resources there for you to get you started on your journey. So you can get my book from there. Alternatively, Amazon. Amazon is
Oh, I
the
think I'll
place
go
to
to your
be.
website actually. I like the thought of all the nice free gifts that we're going to
Oh
get.
yeah, it's packed full. It's packed full. Yeah, it'll get you started on your journey.
Oh, fantastic. Now, I know you've got an event coming up, haven't you? Is it a event coming up, or is it your coaching, or what is it?
I've
I
got
got an email.
you actually.
Oh,
Let me see which one I'll tell you about. I have a 1 day workshop, and that is happening in July. The aim of the workshop is three different things: to get rid of your sugar monster, which a lot of people struggle with,
yes.
to boost your energy, and to maintain a healthy, sustainable weight. So we're going to cover all of that content in 1 day. It's based in West Yorkshire, and the cost of that is £55. So if you're interested, the best thing to do on that one would be to visit my website and sign up. And in one of the boxes where you sign up, if you just put down workshop, and I will contact you with the details of that.
Oh, fantastic. So I'll put the your website details and everything, obviously, when the video's up, so everyone can get that. Now, Gina, I'm aware that was only going to be 20 minutes. We've been 50 minutes actually. You've given us so
Wow,
much, and thank you very much for your time because I know your time is very valuable. So
as is everybody's.
so please, you've left us with lots of nuggets, but if we could take something away with us now at the end of today, what would be your advice for those of us who do want to beat the biscuit tin blues?
My advice would be Don't mess about with thinking about it. Just do it. Commit to it today. Register your commitment. And then focus on, focus on 3 things. The 80-20 rule, planning ahead, make sure you've got snacks and food with you throughout the day, and drink plenty of water. Three key things there for you to get going.
So 80-20, planning ahead,
yeah,
plenty of water.
Water, exactly.
Water.
And that will certainly have an impact straight away.
Yeah, well, I've wrote those down. So thank you very much. And once again, Gina, author of How to Beat the Biscuit Tin Blues. And like she said before, if you want to, there's the book. Get that book up again. Let's have another look at it. There it is. Let's get that book.
It's got a picture of me on the back.
Oh, fantastic. It's a nice cover, actually. Yeah, and that's fantastic, Gina. Thank you very much. Well done on all of your achievements. You are such a dedicated woman, and it has been a pleasure. So thank you for being on Dream Alchemist TV. Like I've said, it's everyday people that are doing extraordinary things. So thank you very much. And I'll catch you on the other side.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye now, everyone.
Bye.